Thank you for joining the Reverend Dr. Sean Michael Greener, radio host, national pastor, author, and speaker for Sundays with Dr. Sean. Hold on tight. Here comes the truth.
How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody is doing really well. We are about to experience one of the most amazing sunsets you could ever see. Ridiculous. It's just, seriously, I almost thought about doing a show out on my back porch. Hey, Debbie, one of the best teachers ever. Debbie, I'm telling you right now, if not the best ever. Debbie Kirk, one of the best teachers ever. My son still talks about her. Amazing teacher. You're phenomenal. And have a phenomenal family. So the sunset here in North Carolina, Hampstead, North Carolina, we're just a little bit south of Topsail, and we're a little bit north of Wilmington, North Carolina, and I'm looking out at, some of the bluest water you've ever seen. Gorgeous. I'm looking at the reflection, the gold reflection on the house across the street from me. Now, the house to the left across the street is like a $2 million home and property, and there's multi-million-dollar homes right down there through the woods. And then us. But what a privilege, what an absolute privilege to see this every day. I love to see it. The other privilege I count is many of you have been sending me the nicest notes asking about Buckeye. She is okay. She had to have some treatment today. We took her to the doctor, Holly Ridge Veterinary Hospital. Phenomenal. They're amazing there. Dr. Maxwell took care of her today. And Buckeye was super sweet. We weren't allowed to go in. So they came to the door and they took her, and she went, and they put her in her room, and when Dr. Maxwell came in, they said she lifted her paw for her to shake. So it's really sweet. She's a sweet dog, I'm telling you. Just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful dog. Love her to death. Anyway, so she's going to be okay. We got her on some medicine, different things, and so we shall see what happens. But we're excited that she was able to get treatment. And it was just nice. It was nice. It's a beautiful day, and I'm always relieved when a little puppy's going to be all right. You know, I treasure her. She's 11 years old. So, what a blessing. And the birds are dancing. Their last little dance of the catching all the little bugs and whatnot. My friend down in Florida, I talk about her a lot at Sea Hag Marina in Steenhatchee, Florida. Let's open up those boat ramps, Taylor County. Let's get it done. She taught me about no gnats and no mosquitoes, and that's some good stuff, all natural stuff that you can wear. But the little no-see-ums are, poof, they're mean, boy. Can't even see them. You really can't see them, and they're a pain in the neck. In fact, I see one right there. I did see him. He thought he was a no-see-um, but he wasn't a no-see-um because Sean seen him. Sean's seen him. I don't actually say that. I saw him. But I thought it would be fun to say seen him. Anyhow, thank you all for sharing my rant the other day. That's been shared a whole bunch of times, and it's on YouTube now. So if you want to grab that off of that, you go to The Good Doctor on YouTube and sign up and subscribe and all that stuff. And then the Ninja Pastor also. We have two different ones there. We do different things on each one, but that one happens to be there. So I think you'll enjoy sharing that around. It is longish, but I didn't have a script or anything. I just woke up mad. I was hearing about all the livestock that's going to have to be killed off if we don't get back to work, and they can't find people to process the meat, so it's just be killed off and buried. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I was mad. So anyhow, so we did another broadcast. I think one or two more broadcasts since then on NOTFlix season 1, and we just we did Ecclesiastes. We're going to do Isaiah. Isaiah. And but I want to tell you a quick story. Not a story really. It's just something interesting. My mother, she's going on to her reward in September. She went to heaven, and we used to take clothes for the needy. And there was this church in a very, very poor section of town. A little bit away, and my mother would collect clothes and repair clothes and new clothes, used clothes, always very gently used clothes, always in immaculate. She always washed them and ironed them and put little size tags for boys, this, that, and the other, and then we would box them up. So we've gone there was, I think 26 boxes was our max in a station wagon. And we went there, and they had a piano on one side and a organ on another, and my mom would go in and play the piano. The door was always unlocked. So one time we got caught, and Pastor Leslie Freeman, God bless him, they became fast friends, and just a precious thing that my mom did. She did it all the time, and she would take clothes over there. Never knew who it was for decades. Anyway, what I loved about him is he would pronounce Isaiah. And one time I was giving a speech to I was actually preaching a sermon to a really large group of people. And for whatever reason, that memory popped into my head. And I said, Isaiah. Turn your Bibles to Isaiah 41. And, or as it says in Isaiah 41, I can't remember what I said, but I said Isaiah. And I had to laugh. Oh my goodness. I cracked myself up actually doing that. It's funny how memories go like that, But I hope it's nice where you are. I want to give you a quick update on PJ. We prayed for PJ the other day. He did have surgery yesterday. He did not get to come home today. We thought maybe he might. But a little few issues there. But, I mean, he was texting funny things, in the early evening. It's amazing. Just absolutely amazing. So your prayers were answered on that. We got some other issues we got to deal with. But he's soldiering through, and he's a war fighter, I'll tell you what. It's just amazing to watch. I'm a pretty tough guy, but he puts me to shame. So, but pray for that family. Keep praying for the Quinn family. My friend Peggy is fighting cancer. Pray for her up in Pennsylvania. She's a dear, sweet lady. I've known her a long time, and she's just precious. She's precious. So, I'm very lucky. I always said this. I'm real lucky to have the friends that I have. So I have to be quick about this because I have a Zoom appointment at 8 o'clock. I just remembered. What do you think of that? Let's get started and I'll stop babbling on. Y'all have stuff to do. Okay, who's the author of Isaiah? Or Isaiah? Isaiah. He's the author of it. Date of writing is 700 BC to 681 BC. Number of chapters, 66 chapters. Lord. That's a lot of chapters. And I will tell you this, if you start reading Isaiah, you will go, holy moly, this is pretty cool. Even if you're not much of a Bible reader, Isaiah is a really, really cool book. To whom is the book written? The nation of Judah. It's not written to modern day people. It's not written to the people next door to Judah. It's the nation of Judah. The purpose of the writing is to call the nation of Judah back to God and to foretell the coming of the Messiah, Yeshua. Or Jesus, as you might know. So this is from the Bible Summary for Real People. It's available on Amazon. It's only $7.99. If you buy my book, or if you've already purchased my book, please go and leave a review on Amazon. Click on the stars is one thing, but that doesn't count. They don't count those. So you have to write a little quick review. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. But that really helps. It moves you up in the rankings. The reason the rankings are important, because after a while, they will raise the price if you fall way down in the rankings. They'll raise the price because it's a print on demand. Anyway, I mean, they keep some already printed on stock. They'll keep more on stock the more popular you are. Hey, Mr. Neal, I just talked about get the boat ramps open in Taylor County. So I hope that they do that. Anyway, let's get this thing back to work. Anyway, to call the nation of Judah back to God, to foretell the coming of the Messiah, Yeshua. The Holy One of Israel brings salvation and judgment upon those that trust and obey him. Isaiah was commissioned with the task of telling the people of Judah this awesome story of coming salvation or judgment. Now, that reminds me of a song, Trust and Obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus, but to trust and obey. Pam plays the piano, and she probably has played that many times. I see you're watching Pam Corner. Thank you for joining us. So that's just such a simple song, Trust and Obey, for there's no other way to be happy in Jesus, but to trust and obey. And this is what Isaiah is teaching. He's saying, trust and obey God. People of Judah, trust and obey God. God is at once just and holy, and yet the compassionate God. It is for this that we are to be continually grateful. You know, it is truly in His grace and mercy that we're relieved of our own oppression, as well as that of our oppressors here on this side of the veil and on earth, in the natural on earth, before he sends Christ back to come get us. And so I wanted to say, it's important to know that what we're going through now is a very, very tough time. It's a very frustrating time. Now, we can argue that the World War II crowd had it a lot harder than we did, and really and truly World War I even more. But the World War II crowd, there was 400,000 Americans killed, servicemen killed. It was horrible. That's not counting civilians and people. 400,000 Americans. It's horrible. So, but they had rationing, and they had to shut their lights off. They had to cover their windows in America. A lot of folks don't remember that. Except that the ones that lived, that were old enough to see that, and those folks are dying off at a pretty quick pace. But they had to do that. They had can rationing. If you used a can, you had to take it back. You had to save it, take it back, clean it out. They had all kinds of rationing. I mean, they had electric rationing. They had fuel rationing. They had all these things. Everything went to the furtherance of the war effort. And so, we're really in a unique situation because, we can sit at home and watch, I'm not going to say the names, but all the different streaming services, and we can watch them and really, really enjoy all kinds of stuff. We can watch documentaries, or we can get on high-speed internet and research this Chinese communist COVID-19 coronavirus, novel coronavirus, and we can say, some things don't sound quite right here. And we can research the people behind telling us all, stay at home, shut everything down, do all that stuff. And so it's very important for us to keep things in perspective. But I will say this. On an economic scale, the whole country has never, ever been shut down like it is now. It's extraordinary. This is extraordinary. I'm going to be very honest with you. I come down on the side of, if you don't want to leave your home, you don't have to. Don't leave your home. If you don't want to open your business, don't open your business. But I think it's time some businesses open up. Do the best you can till this thing is eradicated. I'm not a vaccine guy. I'm not a big fan of that. But if you are, have at it. Go get them once they're ready, and once you feel comfortable, then. But I don't think that we should pay people to sit at home too much awful longer. I just too awful much longer. I just don't think so. I don't think, as Americans, I said this the other day, we didn't win this country except by the hand of God, of course. We didn't win this country by running and cowering in fear, quite frankly. Excuse me. If you are a person that has been compromised physically, it makes sense for you to stay home or do whatever it is that you feel the best doing. I get it. And if you're in a nursing home, that's a risky situation. Excuse me. I forgot to bring my darn water again. I always do that. Anyway, now the sky is turning. I wish I could show you this. The sky, you won't see anything but a reflection off the window, but the sky is turning this crazy pastel. It starts real light pastel, like a pink cotton candy, and then it goes down to this beautiful lavender. Gorgeous. God-painted sky, I call that. If I wasn't doing this, I'd be out there photographing it, let me tell you. Anyhow, you do what you want about it. I'm just saying, I don't think that we should pay people to sit at home indefinitely. I think if you have a compromised immune system, any of those things, I think obviously you need to do what's right for you. But I think America needs to get back to work, because that's how we roll. Anyway, we're relieved of our own oppression, as well as that of our oppressors here on earth. Isaiah was as great a poet that exists today, yet his story was not that of simple-minded prose, rather a dark and dire warning of God's holy fire to come upon us if we stand rebellious and disobedient as those of Judah stood, or rescued and redeemed if only we understand that we must shuck away the Greek worldview to adopt a Hebrew worldview. I explain more about the Greek worldview, nothing against Greek people, versus the Hebrew worldview in a little bit. So a little bit down the road, we're going to explain that a little bit more. But very, very different, very different. And I'll explain one whole session. I'm going to explain the difference between a Greek worldview and a Hebrew worldview. So don't fear on that. Anyhow, let's see. Dark darn when God's holy fire rescued. If we must shuck away the Greek worldview and adopt a Hebrew worldview, we must be less about our empty words of life and more of our right doing and right thinking in the light of God's perfection shined upon our true hearts. Isaiah has the awesome privilege to speak of the coming Messiah and our deliverance from sin and shame. Just as Israel was delivered from exile into the promised land, we are delivered from our sin nature, our hurts, habits, and hang-ups. It's in our nature to be jacked up, to do stupid stuff, to be dumb stuff. We just do it all the time. I'm going to read this one more time. I felt like I went too fast over that. We must be less about our empty words of life and more of our right doing and right thinking in the light of God's perfection shined upon our true hearts. What is our true heart? Our true heart is who we really are. That's who God sees. That true heart, the motivation for what we do, why we do it, how we do it. That is what God sees. He doesn't see that facade that we show a lot of times to other people. He sees the real. He sees through all of the gates and all of the walls we put up. He puts any of the polish and the makeup and all the different things we put on. God sees right through that. He sees our true self. And that is powerful. And that is amazing. It cannot be argued that he sees right through. Anyway, I'm going to read this part once again. Isaiah has the awesome privilege of speaking of the coming Messiah and our deliverance from our sin and shame. Just as Israel was delivered from exile into the promised land, we are delivered from our sin nature, our hurts, habits, and hang-ups, if only we listen and heed the words of the prophet Isaiah and the prophets following him. Isaiah 55:6. Seek the Lord while he may be found, call upon him while he may be near. While he is near. Seek the Lord while he may be found, call upon him while he is near. The people of Judah and all nations to follow are exhorted to seek the Lord while he may be found and to call upon him while he is near. For one day, the time on earth will stand silent and still, and his return will signify our very last chance to call upon El Gibor Abiyad and Al Sar Shalom. That's a long name for God the Father. Long name. So the meaning of Peleho es El Gibor Abiyad Sar Shalom, that's Hebrew, is variously translated as Wonderful in counsel is God Almighty, the everlasting Father, the ruler of peace. Or Wonderful Counselor, God the Mighty, the Father of the world to come, the Prince of Peace. Let me read that for you again. Peleho es El Gibor Abiyad Sar Shalom. That's what that means. Wonderful in counsel is God the Mighty, the everlasting Father, the ruler of peace. Amen. That's powerful. Listen, that's some powerful stuff. I want you to know that when we have these circumstances, we need to put things in perspective. And I know that's a hard thing to do. Putting things into perspective is a really difficult thing. And I don't belittle that, because I have been jacked up and messed up stuff in perspective many times in my lifetime. Those of you who know me, Jeanette, you know me, Sheila Sullivan, you've dispatched me to different things. Jeanette, we know each other for going back a lot of years. Hey man, I'm a person with hurts, habits, and hang-ups. I know it for sure. I don't think I'm perfect. Somebody said to me the other day on social media, I can't remember what it was, but they were arguing with me about something, and they said, well, you just think you're high and mighty, Mr. Perfect, don't you? Mr. What was it? Holy roller or some kind of thing. I can't remember what they said. And I said, you just don't know me, do you? You're so arrogant to think you're the right. Well, politically, and there's some topics that I'm an expert on. But I will tell you that I know, first and foremost, just like, tough guy walking in the room. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'4", about 250, maybe a little more. And I walk into a room, there aren't many people lining up to go, yeah, I'm going to take that guy. But at the same time, I always know that it doesn't matter how big somebody is, they can always take you down. And, the big guys fall hard, they fall hard. That said, I also know that there's a lot of things. Hey, Dr. David Friedman, I'm coming to see you tomorrow. I will have no jokes for you. No jokes this time. Actually, he's the one who always has jokes for me. Magic tricks. You need to show me the $1 and $5 thing again. I'm trying it and I can't do it. I feel like you're kind of tricking me. He does that. He does that with me. He tricks me on these. He does these tricks and he goes, this is easy. No, just watch. Phenomenal stand-up comedian. Phenomenal close magic guy. Really, really good. Really, really good. And a world-class doctor. He wrote a book called Food Sanity. Food Sanity. I'm going to see if I have the hard copy up on the wall. I probably have it in my bedroom. But I have it on Kindle, or not Kindle. Yeah, Kindle. Electronic, whatever. Really, really good. Phenomenal book. He's working on a second book now. Dr. David Friedman, he won an international, like the Oscars for authors. He won that. Went to New York, got the big award, all that stuff, gave a killer speech. And he took note of all the people, all the no's that he got. Hey, would you like to publish this book? No. Would you like to publish in people the awful things that they said? And now he won the biggest award being an author. So he's really phenomenal, and we're blessed to have him here at 1033 South Kerr Avenue in Wilmington, North Carolina. What a privilege. And he's a great friend. So anyway, he's not paying me to say that. It's just true. So people that know me from way back, and this is how it is with all of us, right? When we make a life change, when we turn something around, maybe we want to lose weight. I could stand to lose a little bit of weight and get a little bit healthier, you know. Sometimes the family or your friends, your closest friends, they're not on your team so much. And so what I want to encourage you to do is see your goal, see your past that, your relationship with God, your relationship, your faith relationship, your supernatural relationship with God. Sometimes people will try to chip away at that too, because we're not perfect. And the people that know us the best, they know we're not perfect. And so they chip away a little bit. Don't let that dissuade you. Don't let it slow you down. I want to tell you this. There's never a better day to start in a life change than today. Today is a great day to be alive. Our job, what we're supposed to do, is go live it. Thank you for joining me. Share this with everybody you know. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining Dr. Sean today. Please follow Dr. Sean at www.drseangreener.com and on social media at facebook.com/smgreener, Twitter at The Ninja Pastor, and on Instagram at The Ninja Pastor. If you would like to support Dr. Sean's ministry and send Bibles around the world, don't forget to hit the donate page on drseangreener.com or go to paypal.me/Dr. Sean Greener to invest in spreading the Word of God to the world. And please download our free apps to listen to our Spreaker radio show. Thank you again for listening, and don't forget to share.